Humans have built breathtaking monuments, towering skyscrapers, and engineering marvels that touch the clouds. But for every architectural masterpiece, there is an equally spectacular, incredibly expensive, and utterly ridiculous engineering failure. Sometimes, the brightest engineers completely forget basic physics, common sense, or just proper planning. Today, grab your hard hats. We are exploring the 5 most hilariously expensive engineering disasters in history. In 1628, King Gustavus of Sweden wanted the ultimate superweapon. He ordered the most terrifying warship ever built, the Vasa. The project was instantly doomed. The Swedish and Dutch shipwrights literally used completely different measuring systems during construction. To make matters worse, the king arrogantly intervened. He demanded a second, massive gun deck packed with heavy bronze cannons. Engineers warned there wasn't enough space in the hull for the heavy stone ballast needed to keep it upright. They did a stability test. 30 men ran across the deck. The ship wobbled so violently they canceled the test. But nobody had the courage to tell the terrifying king that his multi-million-dollar pet project was a death trap. Ignoring basic physics, they launched it. Thousands of citizens gathered to excitedly witness the pride of the Swedish Navy. It sailed exactly 1,300 meters. A very mild breeze caught the sails, and the ridiculously top-heavy ship tipped over. Water rushed through the open gun ports. The most expensive military project in Swedish history sank in just 20 minutes. During the official investigation, everyone blamed the dead shipbuilder. Nobody dared to blame the king's terrible design changes. It was an absolute disaster, defeating itself before ever firing a single cannon at an enemy. Ironically, the cold mud preserved the ship perfectly. Today, this epic failure is Sweden's most popular tourist attraction. Moving to Italy, 1173, the wealthy city of Pisa wanted to show off its stolen pirate loot with a massive tower. The problem? Pisa literally translates to marshy land. The soil was just soft clay, fine sand, and shells. They only dug a 3-meter foundation for a massive 14,000-ton building. By the 3rd floor, it aggressively started sinking. Luckily, constant wars forced construction to pause for nearly a century, allowing the mud to compress and settle. When builders returned, they tried to fix it by making the upper floors taller on one side. A terrible idea. This actually curved the structure, making it banana-shaped. Then, they boldly added 7 incredibly heavy bells at the top. Fast forward to 1934. Dictator Benito Mussolini declared the Leaning Tower was a national embarrassment and ordered it fixed. His engineers pumped tons of concrete into the base. It made the ground heavier, causing it to sink even deeper. Modern engineers finally saved it from collapsing by secretly burying 800 tons of lead counterweights underground. It took 800 years of panic, but this massive architectural blunder became Italy's most profitable, iconic mistake. In 1940, the United States opened the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. It was famously sleek, cheap, and structurally beautiful. What sparks your interest?
To save money, designers used solid steel plate girders instead of open trusses. The bridge became a giant, solid sail.
It couldn't let wind pass through. Crosswinds caused aerodynamic flutter, making the heavy concrete road bounce wildly. Locals literally treated it like an amusement park ride. Thrill-seekers paid the toll just to drive on galloping Gertie. But physics has no mercy. On a windy November morning, the structure was pushed past its absolute limit. The bridge twisted 45 degrees. A man named Leonard abandoned his car and crawled on his hands and knees to safety. Inside his car was a 3-legged dog named Tubby. Rescuers tried to save him, but Tubby stubbornly refused to leave. Massive steel cables snapped. The central span ripped apart and crashed into the freezing river below. Tubby the dog was the only casualty of this multi-million-dollar engineering disaster. A truly tragic loss. Today, the bridge's spectacular failure is the ultimate classroom example of why engineers must always respect aerodynamics.
It featured over 10,000 experimental double-paned windows. But the designers completely underestimated the extreme thermal stress. When the building naturally swayed in the wind, the massive, 500-pound glass panels violently popped out of their frames. These heavy glass bombs plummeted hundreds of feet down to the busy city streets below. It was terrifying.
Police had to permanently close the sidewalks. They literally hired guards to stand on duty, watching the sky for falling windows. They temporarily replaced the broken glass with ugly wooden plywood, earning it the hilarious nickname, the Plywood Palace. But the nightmare wasn't over. Engineers later realized the entire building was in severe danger of toppling over on its short axis. They desperately had to install a giant tuned mass damper inside to stop it from collapsing. Ultimately, they spent millions removing and replacing every single one of the 10,000 windows. A magnificent failure.
Finally, the Winchester Mystery House. Sarah Winchester inherited the massive rifle fortune, but believed she was
The ghosts of people killed by Winchester rifles are aggressively haunting your every move. Her solution was bizarre. She hired builders to work 24 hours a day for 38 years straight.
To confuse the spirits, she created absolute architectural nonsense. She built beautiful stairs that led directly into solid ceilings.
She installed cabinets that were only half an inch deep and doors that opened to 2-story deadly drops. Sarah was obsessed with the number 13. She demanded rooms with 13 windows and chandeliers with 13 candles.
During the 1906 earthquake, she got trapped in one of her secret rooms because the confusing layout ruined the rescue.
She slept in a different secret bedroom every single night, hoping the giant maze would protect her peace.
She spent millions of dollars building a stressful, chaotic architectural nightmare just to get a good night's rest.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button for more crazy historical facts and epic disasters. See you next time.